How's it going, guys? In this video what I'm going to be doing is pulling the engine from the EG, which is pretty exciting. I know I keep talking about I've got a time crunch and all that kind of thing, which I've not really given much reference to. It's because I'm moving down south in just a couple of weeks now, and I'm wanting to take the car because the only mode of transport that I've got right now is my absolutely beautiful bike. Here it is here. It's an NC23 1988 CBR 400 RR, and I'm absolutely loving it. It's beautiful, it's everything that I'd want from a bike, but it's just not the comfiest thing for travelling about and driving 6, 7, 8 hours down south. And so I really want the car done. At this point, when I'm taking the engine out, only one of the arches is almost done, and I say almost done, like there's still a fair bit of work to go into it. This video will come out before the engine video, I'd imagine, but here is the arch at this stage. It's all welded up, the welds need ground down, the inside's been raptored, which I think looks brilliant, but then we were just welding in this plate to stop anything getting in here, but we ran out of gas. So that's what welds look like when you run out of gas. So that just needs squared up. We've actually got the gas already, but I don't want to kick about, and I want to get the engine out and the new engine in, because I know for definite that I need to do some things regarding the fuel system, because the EG3s are carbureted, and the engine that I've got, as you've seen, is a D16, which is fuel injection. So I believe what I'll need to do is get a fuel pump for inside the bay, but it shouldn't be a big task. I say shouldn't be, but yeah, I've only got a couple of weeks to get this out running. The other side is not finished, it's still extremely rusty, and I've bashed loads of holes in it because I thought, oh, it's fine, we'll be changing it anyway. Here it is, absolutely disgusting. But it's fine, because I've done the left side and we've overtaken the right hand lane, so people are just going to be seeing the left side anyway. But yeah, I'm just going to get to pulling this engine. So I've just got a wee update. So far I've got the drive shafts pulled out, intake and exhaust manifolds off, the gear linkages off mostly, most of the wiring unplugged, and most of the kind of tubes and stuff connecting the engine, most of it's off. So this is how we're sitting. Still loads of crap, but most of it is disconnected. Like, I've kept most of the stuff connected to the engine that I can, so I'm just going to pull it out in a oneer. So I'm going to start thinking about how to get the lift or the engine hoist set up to take this away. Thing about this is the swap that I've got, I think, has all the wiring that I need with it, which could make it a lot easier or a lot harder, because I don't know what to keep in my engine bay just now, whether to keep the fuse boxes in or take them out, or what it is I'm going to be using and what I'm not. But everything, you know, the engine needs to get pulled anyway, so that's what I'm doing just now. So the engine's pulled, as you just saw, which is fantastic news. I'm kind of half on track for what I'm trying to do. What I'm now doing is I'm looking at what the engine loom that I have for the engine that I'm putting in, and I'm laying it all out, seeing what I'm going to be replacing and what I'm going to be keeping. So I'll show you that just now. So I've started laying out the loom, just how it will be roughly in the car. For example, that's the fuse box that's in the engine bay. This is the fuse box that is underneath the steering wheel. You can see where it comes into the bay, so this is just the indicators, lights and stuff like that. This is the same, that's indicators and stuff like that on the other side. This ECU sits in the passenger footwell, that's where that goes. This is all the stuff that's underneath the dash. Then these two kind of flat bits run along the driver's seat. Then this one is the handbrake light, then that goes to the fuel tank, and then this connects to the rear loom. So for a wee bit of context in the car, there's all the stuff, that's the fuse box under the steering wheel obviously, then here's the two flat ones that come beside the driver's side. I've ripped out, that's the ECU that was under there, and then here is where it connects to the rear loom. So touch wood, but it seems to be going all right. Like, it is relatively simple because I have both looms here. I'll probably need another pair of hands to help me fish them through the firewall and stuff like that. I don't think I'll need to pull the dash, which is quite convenient. But yeah, it's all just taking the loom now and replacing it, just switching it out, and hopefully it all works. So I've pulled the loom and it was a wee bit more of a pain than I thought it was going to be. I had to pull the steering column, pull the carpet, there's the kind of sound deadening carpet up the back, kind of resting against the edge of the feet wells. But it's out now. This is the old one that's just been taken out. This is the new one that's to go in. Just checking similarities, if there's any sort of differences, clocking them. And yeah, my nice bike that I've still to do a video on. It's kind of been a bit of carnage getting it all out, and carpet's out, steering's out. Gave it a good hoover though, and I've given the engine bay a wee wash out, although it may not look it. It is slightly cleaner than it was before. So all I've got to do now is get the new harness in, and what I have is the new engine, which, if you hadn't watched my other video, it's a D16 Z6 head Y8 block with turbo setup. So yeah, that's where I'm at just now. Just going to be checking out this loom, getting it in, and then start to piece things back together, get the engine in. I'm just waiting on a fuel pump because this is an EG3. It was carbureted, so I've ordered an out of tank fuel, like inline fuel pump. That'll be here in a couple of days, but that's giving me a couple of days to get all this in, see how it's looking. I'm gonna see about changing the belt on the engine, and just see the kind of nick of everything on it, because I've not really looked at it much yet. But yeah, I'll just keep cracking on with it. So I just thought I'd show at this point roughly where your loom goes, because it was a bit of a mystery to me. What you really want to do is you'll have your normal carpet and then the kind of foamy carpet up the back. You want to take that out, which I've been a bit bad and cut, but it just did it to save time, and it'll fit right back up into place anyway. But I've cut it so that you can see the firewall. Your loom comes down from there, and then your ECU, which connects to this, sits against that plate there, and then all this stuff goes outside the car. That's your indicators and whatever else. Then it goes, the thick tubing runs up behind here, then that plastic bit that's behind the pedals bolts up against the firewall just above the steering rack, and then it comes down, and then it's all this bundle of wiring, which is your fuse box. It all bolts up under there, and then follow the rectangles back because they clip onto the red clips, and then they clip onto the red clips, then it does a turn along this bit of the chassis and comes to the petrol tank, and then there's just a couple of wee bits that, like the door triggers and whatever else. The thing about this loom that mine didn't have, which I might be being slightly optimistic, but coming off of the ECU wiring are these two wires here to this box, which has a label on it that says handbrake, but there's already, this is the handbrake that was on, that's the handbrake cable that was on my loom, so the only thing that I can think this is for is two-step or something like that, which would be pretty rowdy. But yeah, that's just to show where the loom roughly goes, just to show you. So I just put in a wee clip of, I got the timing belt done on the engine. I've also got a new throwout bearing in the transmission, and I didn't film it, but we just quickly got the new engine thrown into the car, which is, it's not a huge job, to be honest. With the help of the hoist and whatever else, it's fine. So I'm just going through all the engine mounts, tighten them up. I've still got the T-bracket that goes on the subframe to go on, which might be a wee bit of a pig to get since the everything's on, but it should be fine. I'm not too worried, to be honest. I do think I'm going to have to go and steal some bolts off of my D13, which will be absolutely fine because no one's going to want to buy it anyway. But yeah, just the distributor's missing a few. I don't really know where all the nuts are for the intake and stuff like that, but it's in, which is fantastic. So from here it's just plugging it all in, getting all the wiring plugged in, which really shouldn't be too hard because every plug has a place to go. And then it'll be, I've got the brake rebuild kits, which I'll maybe just make a different video since this one will be getting long, and then just putting it all together, really. I need to put the alternator belt on as well as the power steering belt on, make sure that's all good, and then fluids, and need spark plugs, set up the new fuel pump. So just, I'm saying wee things, they're all pretty big things integral for it to actually work, but wee-ish things now that the engine's actually in, running oil returns and feeds for turbos and whatever else. So I'll just be doing that. So I'm going to call this video here because it's getting a wee bit long, but I'm just going to be buttoning up those wee things in the next videos, and yeah, I'll see you then. Cheers.